Tonight, major storms on both coasts hitting as millions prepare for Thanksgiving travel.
I have no power. It was windy as hell last night.
In the Northeast, heavy snow, rain, and wind. And in the west, a dangerous atmospheric river is bringing flash floods and landslides, destroying homes and cars. Meteorologist Lee Goldberg is tracking it all for us. Plus, one classroom under God. For the first time, the Texas Board of Education approves a Bible-based curriculum for public schools. How it will change the way kids learn. And
what am I under arrest for?
For reckless endangerment.
And then I had to ask to tell my children goodbye.
A mom arrested after her 10-year-old walked alone to the store, igniting a social media firestorm over free-range parenting. Just how much freedom should kids have? And good evening. It is the end of a long week. We thank you, as always, for streaming with us. I'm Phil Lipoff, in tonight for Linsey Davis. The plan to teach the Bible in America's second largest state. The star of The Social Network is here to talk to us about his new film, out now. And Thanksgiving is just around the corner, as so many of us getting ready to travel. We are looking at this wet and snowy weather for you. Here in New York and New Jersey, the first major snowfall of the season, 20 inches in some select places. All that snow definitely causing problems for anyone on the road. A reminder, don't drive if you don't have to in this weather. In the west, 17 inches of rain in parts of Northern California. First responders had to rescue people in their cars. We're going to have a full weather forecast for you in just a moment, including those key Thanksgiving travel days. But first, our Stephanie Ramos in the early season East Coast snow.
Tonight, weather whiplash for the Northeast after months of drought. Neighborhoods slammed with heavy wet snow.
Wildfires to now snow and ice. What do you think about all this?
It's been crazy.
In the Scranton, Pennsylvania area, conditions so slick, even plow trucks got stuck. The driver of this plow says he tried to go around another vehicle and got stuck on the shoulder.
I mean, I love the snow. This is kind of fun, but it's not fun when you get stuck.
Authorities in Pennsylvania shutting down a 50-mile stretch of Interstate 84 from outside Scranton to the New York border for a time. Overnight, crews all over the region racing to clear roads, cutting up branches, and dodging live power lines. More than 100,000 in the dark. Meanwhile, that atmospheric river still soaking the west. Overnight, first responders rescuing 2 people and a dog in Chico, California. Flash flood warnings in San Francisco. Our Melissa Adan in Sonoma County, California.
In Sonoma County, we keep seeing the effects of this rainfall. These vineyards here, they're drenched, and so much of the rivers and creeks are now flooding. The biggest concern, you see this here, that's a bridge totally taken by the water. That sign more than 5 feet under.
The mudslide danger growing by the hour. This one swallowing an SUV. Thankfully, no one was hurt. Crews doing what they can to shore up hillsides, hoping they hold.
And Stephanie joins us now from New Jersey. Stephanie, it seems the snow's still coming down where you are.
It certainly is. Here in New Jersey, in some areas with high elevations like where we are now, High Point State Park, they got up to 20 inches of snow. Real taste of winter, but there is still some real concern as this storm slowly winds down. The high winds gusting nearly 40 miles an hour. Phil?
Stephanie Ramos from High Point, New Jersey. Stephanie, thank you. And WABC's chief meteorologist Lee Goldberg is tracking it all for us. And Lee, some early season snow for the East Coast.
Just incredible, Phil. It's the ultimate case of weather whiplash, where we started November with record warmth, 80-degree temperatures. Then we went into severe drought, brush fires breaking out. Then you get a day with record rainfall and all this big inland snow. It's been extraordinary. Radar still showing rain and snow, albeit lighter. It's still steady across parts of Pennsylvania and West Virginia, but we got up to 20 inches in the Poconos and Catskills and High Point, New Jersey. There are still blizzard warnings that go down into Appalachia, into West Virginia. All these alerts will expire into the day on Saturday. This will all be replaced by big winds across the Northeast. Meanwhile, the atmospheric river event is winding down out west, but there's still some heavy rain coming in. There still could be an additional half a foot of rainfall and additional mountain snows, and then it gets more patchy into the weekend. But there are more rounds of rain and snow in early next week for holiday travel delays. That'll move into the Rockies and Ohio Valley midweek midweek. And unfortunately, a week from now, we may be covering a storm along the East Coast, bringing more rain and snow and slowing down travel into Thanksgiving and the day after. Hopefully, we can squeeze in a dry Thanksgiving Day parade. We'll be on it. Phil?
I know you will. Hopefully, indeed. All right, Lee Goldberg, thanks so much. It is a move testing the boundaries of separation of church and state in this country. In Texas, the state's school board approved Bible teachings in elementary classrooms. The controversial curriculum includes biblical and Christian lessons about Moses, the story of the Good Samaritan, the Golden Rule, readings from the book of Genesis, and it's just the latest in a series of similar attempts in Republican-led states. ABC's Maria Villarreal reports from Texas tonight.
Tonight, in a first-of-its-kind decision, the Texas Board of Education approving a controversial new curriculum that allows Bible teachings in public elementary schools.
8 yes, 7 no.
8-7, the motion passes.
The curriculum, set to roll out next August, includes both biblical and Christian stories in reading and language arts textbooks for 2.3 million students in kindergarten to 5th grade. While schools can opt out, those that adopt the new lesson plans stand to receive at least $40 per student in state funding. Tonight, critics say the curriculum undermines students' religious freedom, and they say it's part of a Republican-led push for Christianity in public education across the country. Oklahoma's state superintendent has ordered teachers in grades 5 through 12 to include the Bible in classroom instruction. And in Louisiana, the 10 Commandments must be displayed in every classroom. Both are now facing legal fights.
Maria joins us now from McAllen, Texas. Maria, what are school district leaders there telling you tonight?
Well, you know, Phil, some religious groups might actually see this as an opportunity to push these kinds of initiatives, given the conservative makeup of the Supreme Court. But there are school district leaders across Texas that are already fielding phone calls from parents. They tell me right now, for them, it is a wait-and-see moment that will likely end up in the courtroom before it ends up in the classroom. Phil?
No doubt about that. Maria Villarreal from McAllen, Texas. Maria, thank you. Joining us now is Amanda Tyler, Executive Director of the Baptist Joint Committee for Religious Liberty. Amanda, thanks so much for taking the time to be with us. First off, I'd just like to get your reaction to this decision to allow Bible lessons in Texas schools.
Well, I'm very disappointed by the board's 8-7 vote to approve this flawed curriculum that thousands of Texans voiced their disapproval of to the Texas State Board of Education. We had profound disagreements with the curriculum, the way that it incorporated teaching of Bible stories to kids as young as kindergarten in their reading and language arts classes, because of the ways that it will interfere with the religious freedom rights of kids and their families if it isn't implemented. But I will say there were some very encouraging signs. One is that this is not a partisan issue in Texas. 3 Republican members of the board joined with the 4 Democrats to disapprove of this curriculum. And the curriculum does not automatically get implemented in Texas schools, but rather the fight will now shift to school districts across the state of Texas. And it is my hope and expectation that Texans across the state will voice their concerns about religious freedom with this particular curriculum.
Yeah, and that's kind of what I wanted to ask you. This is sort of at the core of really any opposition to something of this kind. What kind of message do you think this sends to families who are not of Christian faith, for starters?
Well, I hope that they'll see that there are so many Christians like me. I'm a Baptist, and I have profound concerns about teaching the Bible in public schools. So I hope that they will see that they are not alone, that in order for us to protect everyone's religious freedom rights in this country, that we need to protect the institutional separation of church and state, that our public schools are strong because everyone is welcome in our public schools, regardless of which religion religion they practice, and that all can equally learn and equally belong in Texas public schools. I am concerned that if this curriculum were to be implemented in certain school districts, that message of belonging would be at issue, that kids who are not Christian would feel that they were not equally a part of our public schools, and that harms their religious freedom. But for Christians like me, it also harms our religious freedom, because it should be up to Texas families and their houses of worship to provide religious instruction. That is a foundational constitutional premise and promise for our country, that we protect religious freedom by keeping government out of affairs of religious instruction. And this curriculum, if it were to be implemented, would attack that foundational constitutional promise.
Yeah, and your voice as a Christian is a powerful one in this discussion. As a Christian, you testified before Congress last year, and you said to oppose Christian nationalism is not to oppose Christianity. I want you to explain a little bit more about what you meant.
That's right. Christian nationalism is this political ideology and cultural framework that tries to merge Christian and American identities. It says to be a real Christian, one has to be an American, and to be a real American, one has to be a Christian. That idea of Christian nationalism is both an attack on our constitutional promises of religious freedom, but it also is at odds with my understanding of Christianity, a Christian faith in which God loves everyone, regardless of national identity. Christian nationalism seeks to merge political and religious authority in ways that can lead to idolatry, in ways that turn the gospel of love into a false idol of power. And so for all of these reasons, it is because of my Christian faith, not in spite of it, that I am called to speak out against Christian nationalism, and I am not alone.
Amanda Tyler, thank you so much for taking the time. Such an important perspective you have on the subject.
Thanks for having me on.
President-elect Trump has offered the Treasury Secretary job to billionaire Scott Bessent, sources telling ABC News. Bessent has advised Trump on economic policy in the past. Trump has said that he plans to impose tariffs on all U.S. imports. Meantime, Florida's former top prosecutor Pam Bondi is Trump's new pick for Attorney General after former Congressman Matt Gaetz withdrew his name. ABC's senior White House correspondent Selena Wang is in West Palm Beach, Florida for us tonight.
Tonight, sources tell us Team Trump is confident the president-elect's second pick for Attorney General won't suffer the same fate as his first. Former Congressman Matt Gaetz, who only lasted 8 days before he had to withdraw from contention.
America's for Trump, and so am I.
The new nominee, former Florida Attorney General Pam Bondi, considered a much stronger contender for Senate confirmation.
President Trump has been out there fighting for us non-stop. And if he's out there fighting for us, we're going to fight for him.
Gaetz, who antagonized many of his fellow Republicans for years, saw his nomination go down in flames amid allegations he used drugs and paid women for sex. Gaetz has denied any wrongdoing, but today acknowledged Bondi doesn't have his baggage.
I had a full-time job explaining to senators that maybe a tweet I sent about them was rash and not reflective of how I would serve as Attorney General. Pam Bondi's confirmation won't have some of the sharp edges that mine would have. It won't take the same long process.
What Bondi does have is the trust of Donald Trump. She defended him in his first impeachment trial.
They threw due process, fundamental fairness, and our Constitution out the window.
And was a key force in his effort to overturn the 2020 election, pushing lies about the vote.
We do have evidence of cheating. We are still on the ground in Pennsylvania. I'm here right now, and we are not going anywhere until they declare that we won Pennsylvania.
As Florida's Attorney General, she also passed on a case against Trump University shortly after receiving a donation from the Trump Foundation. More recently, she's worked as a lobbyist and registered foreign agent with past clients, including the government of Qatar.
Thank you, Pam. What a good job she does.
For Trump, the Attorney General job is the one he cares the most about. In a statement announcing Bondi's nomination, he said, "For too long, the partisan Department of Justice has been weaponized against me and other Republicans. Not anymore. Bondi's made it clear in her many TV appearances that she understands her marching orders.
The investigators will be investigated because the deep state, last term for President Trump, they were hiding in the shadows, but now they have a spotlight on them and they can all be investigated and the House needs to be cleaned out.
With Bondi's selection, Trump has now nominated 4 of his personal lawyers for the top spots at the Department of Justice.
Selena joins us now. Selena, tell us more about Treasury Secretary.
Yeah, we're told by sources that Donald Trump has offered the role of Treasury Secretary to hedge fund manager Scott Bessent. Bessent, we're told by sources, has been spending a lot of time at Mar-a-Lago with Donald Trump in recent days. The process to find this role was so drawn out, I'm told, because of the infighting among Donald Trump's advisors over this position. Bessent is seen as a credible choice among Wall Street investors. Phil?
All right, Selena Wang from West Palm Beach, Florida. Selena, thank you. And there is this note tonight. President-elect Trump will not be sentenced next week as scheduled for his conviction in his hush money case. Judge Juan Marchand formally adjourned sentencing and asked both sides to expand on their arguments. Trump's lawyers say the conviction should be thrown out because of presidential immunity. Prosecutors say they are willing to put the case on hold until Trump leaves office. After a week of major escalation in the war in Ukraine, Russia has now vowed to mass produce an experimental ballistic missile tested for the first time in an attack on Ukraine on Thursday. Vladimir Putin calling the strike a warning to the West. ABC's chief international correspondent James Longman has this report.
Tonight, Russia is vowing to mass produce that new advanced ballistic missile that slammed into Ukraine. The experimental missile with multiple warheads struck the eastern city of Dnipro. The Russians say it's capable of carrying a nuclear weapon and isn't easily intercepted. This new image shows fragments of that missile later found on the ground. Vladimir Putin has called the attack a successful test and says they will continue to use the missiles in combat. Putin had called the attack a warning to the West. Retaliation for Ukraine's use of American and British long-range missiles fired into Russia. Ukraine tonight tightening security, shutting down parliament, holding emergency talks with NATO, vowing to respond to Russia's missile threat.
Phil, US officials acknowledge that Russia's use of that new missile is significant, but they say they're focused on providing Ukraine with the weapons they need now before President-elect Trump takes office. Phil?
All right, James Longman for us. James, thank you. Music mogul Sean Diddy Combs returning to court today, trying to get out of jail in his sex trafficking case. For a third time now, Combs asked a federal judge to release him on $50 million bond while he battles charges of racketeering, sex trafficking, kidnapping, and obstruction. The judge did not immediately rule, but said he would have a decision next week. 2 previous judges have denied Combs bail, calling him a flight risk, a danger to the community, and citing concerns of possible witness tampering. The number of E. coli cases are expanding now across the U.S., with one outbreak linked to organic carrots, and now reports that an infant's death is being blamed on a listeria outbreak linked to meat and poultry products. Here's Alex Perez.
Tonight, with millions hitting supermarkets ahead of Thanksgiving, Americans are tracking a growing list of food recalls across the country.
One of the things that I think is driving this increased detection of outbreaks is we've got better public health.
The latest recall involving 167,000 pounds of ground beef, fresh and frozen, possibly contaminated with E. coli. The meat shipped to restaurants around the country from the Detroit-based Wolverine Packing Company. Health officials say at least 15 patients who ate at various restaurants have been sickened in Minnesota, including 2 who were hospitalized. And today, authorities expanding that E. coli recall of bagged carrots from Grimway Farms after 1 person died and at least 15 were hospitalized, including Melinda Pratt.
I thought possibly I just had a horrible stomach flu, and it just progressively got worse each and every day.
It comes just weeks after a deadly E. coli outbreak linked to slivered onions at some McDonald's. And tonight, we're just learning about a new listeria outbreak linked to ready-to-eat meat products from Yusheng Foods. An infant from California has died, and 9 people have been hospitalized in 4 states.
Alex joins us now. Alex, what are doctors saying about these outbreaks?
Well, Phil, we talked to one doctor who says, yes, consumers need to be more aware of these outbreaks, but they say we're not actually seeing more outbreaks. It's just that we're getting better at testing for them, and that's why we're hearing more of these outbreaks, Phil.
All right, makes sense. Alex Perez tonight. Alex, thank you. A major league warning. The NBA and NHL are now joining the NFL in urging players to upgrade their security after a string of robberies targeting the homes of professional athletes. Investigators say a transitional crime ring is to blame. Here's ABC senior investigative correspondent Aaron Katersky.
Tonight, the NBA and NHL are joining the NFL in warning players that sophisticated South American crime rings are targeting their homes for burglary and urging them to upgrade their security systems. Mike Conley of the Minnesota Timberwolves was at a Vikings game, hyping up the crowd when his home was robbed.
Bobby on the block.
And Bobby Portis of the Milwaukee Bucks was on the court.
But while I was at my game yesterday, I had a home invasion, and they took most of my prized possessions.
An NBA memo says the FBI suspects the crime groups are using advanced techniques and technologies, including pre-surveillance, drones, and signal jamming devices that could disrupt an alarm system. The thieves have also targeted the homes of Chiefs stars Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce and other luxury homeowners in several states, focused on stealing cash, jewelry, handbags, and watches. A source tells ABC News authorities recovered one of Kelce's stolen watches in Rhode Island.
And Aaron joins us now. Aaron, what more beyond just hiring security can these NBA players do?
Well, the NBA is urging players tonight, Phil, to remove from the internet any real estate listings with photos. They're also urging them to get a dog or install an updated alarm system. Although, Phil, most of the burglaries, the FBI says, were committed at homes that have alarm systems. They just weren't turned on at the time. Phil.
All right, Aaron Katersky, thank you. Blue Origin launched its 9th space tourism flight today. Jeff Bezos' rocket took off from his ranch in Texas, sending 6 passengers to the edge of space and back. Passengers included a husband and wife, making their second trip there. Also on board, engineer and TV host Emily Calandrelli, known as the Space Gal, who became the 100th woman to fly to space. The entire flight, by the way, lasted 10 minutes. Still much more to get to here tonight on Prime. Why customers were showing off their best dance moves one by one at this local coffee shop. But next, parents, a question. Just how much independence should children have? We shine a spotlight on so-called free-range parenting after a Georgia mom was arrested for letting her son walk alone to the store.
Ancestors called on us for a reason. To reconnect our people across the entire ocean.
No, I don't need her to save me. Again. Ow! Ow!
Disney's Moana 2, rated PG, only in theaters November 27th. The news never stops.
From Tampa, we are here tonight as Hurricane Milton has just made landfall.
The surge just keeps coming up.
Right on the border between Ukraine and Russia.
In downtown Tel Aviv, rockets or missiles coming in.
ABC News Live everywhere.
We're not far from where this rally took place, so just stick with us here.
Here in London. From the front lines.
Off the coast of Gaza. Wherever the story is.
We're going to take you there.
You're streaming
ABC News Live.
ABC News Live.
You're streaming ABC News Live.
ABC News Live, streaming free everywhere.
The Hollywood Studios want us to make a movie of our podcast.
It's a fabulous cast.
Action. I'm nervous playing you. The fearlessness, the complexity.
Oh, stop. Unless you had more to say.
I don't need an algorithm to tell me that this is box office gold.
Only Murders in the Building, streaming on Hulu and for bundle subscribers on Disney+.
It was a game changer. It changed everything.
Some people are calling them miracle drugs. Weekly injections are helping many to lose weight. But as some patients look beyond compounded versions of these medications, growing concerns about what people are actually buying.
The entities that worry me are entities that we may refer to as pharmacies, but they're not pharmacies at all.
ABC News takes a closer look to see if those easily obtained shots are what they claim to be, or if you're taking a shot in the dark.
3, 2, 1.
It's a 24/7 life together.
It's not about the fear or the risk. It's about the love of flying. 3, 2, 1.
Ever since I was a boy, I've dreamt of being the hero. Now, I just take out the trash.
You mean you like take out the trash?
No, I mean, I take out the garbage into a dumpster. That's my brother. He's been missing for 12 years. You're going to solve this?
We are.
It's time for my story.
You might not have a six-pack or any pack, but you have heart.
You'll get him next time.
Welcome back. Here's a question for you. Is it illegal for a parent to let a 10-year-old child walk alone to the store? Well, according to police in Mineral Bluff, Georgia, it is. Meet a mom who was arrested hours after her son did just that. ABC's Ariel Reshef reports.
What am I under arrest for?
For reckless endangerment.
And how was I recklessly endangering my child?
Brittany Patterson never imagined that she could end up arrested for something like this.
I was shocked, surprised, disbelief, couldn't really understand what was going on or why. They told me to put my hands behind my back, and then I had to ask to tell my children goodbye.
Recently, the Georgia mother of 4 making national headlines.
A Georgia mother is facing jail time because her nearly 11-year-old son walked into town by himself.
As a result, she was arrested, fingerprints and mugshots taken.
She says he was never in any danger.
Taken into custody after her 10-year-old son left home by himself and was found walking alone in their small town of Mineral Bluff. Brittany charged with reckless conduct, sparking a nationwide debate over what's right and wrong when it comes to a child's independence.
In the comments, Jesse, half was for her, half was against her.
People everywhere weighing in on all sides.
Who are we kidding, y'all? I've probably let my kids do way worse things.
Even on talk shows.
I say please drop the charges for this mom. She doesn't deserve to be arrested for this.
If any parent has read any of the Beverly Cleary books, Ramona, Henry Huggins, those kids were roaming the neighborhood in a way that we would call free range now. We used to allow children some freedoms that we no longer allow them, and I don't think that's to their benefit or to ours.
The crime was that she didn't know where her kid was for a little while because she'd left him at home, and to her surprise, he didn't stay home. It's just so normal, and to make that into a crime is insane.
It seems like everyone has a take on Patterson's case. How much freedom for a kid is too much?
If we don't give our children opportunities to be more independent, they don't get to exercise those muscles and think of them as someone who is capable of being independent.
According to the American Academy of Pediatrics, children are generally ready to walk alone safely without adult supervision at around 10 years old.
Parents watching this story who are kind of thinking to themselves, what would I do in my own scenario?
No parent always knows where their kid is, you know, and it's not a crime that kids are human beings and sometimes make bad decisions, sometimes don't tell you where they are. That doesn't mean you're a bad parent. That means you're a human being with a fellow human being who's younger than you.
Recently, the Surgeon General issuing an advisory about parents feeling high levels of stress, highlighting that 41% of parents say that most days they are so stressed they cannot function, and 48% say most days their stress is completely overwhelming compared to other adults, and that time demands and concerns about children's safety can contribute.
The Surgeon General just did this big study where he said that parents are really miserable. Well, of course, if you're expected to be with your child every single second, and parenting never had to be 24/7 until now. But I don't blame the parents. I blame this culture that talks endlessly about the impact of every parenting decision on every atom of their kid's being.
If you are anxious, I guarantee your kid is catching it. If your kid is anxious, I guarantee that you are catching it. What happens is we pass that anxiety back and forth, and we start creating anxious patterns in our family that actually make anxiety worse.
It was just a normal day for us.
Brittany Patterson's ordeal began when she says she left home late October to bring one of her older kids to the doctor. Her younger son, Soren, who was nearly 11 at the time, stayed home.
My dad is there all the time, so there's always an adult in the home. And so off I went to go take my other son to his doctor's appointment.
Sometime later that day, according to a Fannin County Sheriff's Office report, her son, Soren, who has since turned 11, walked less than a mile into town to go to the Dollar General.
There's a little tiny post office, little tiny fire station, a Baptist church, a gas station, and a Dollar General.
Authorities discovered him walking alone after getting a call from a concerned resident. Police dropping him off at home, according to the report.
He was not missing. I had just seen him 2 minutes before, so I knew he was on the property, and I was not concerned. So the whole idea that he was missing, I feel like is not accurate.
But a few hours later, police returned, arresting Brittany in front of her kids. The warrant claiming she willingly and knowingly did endanger the bodily safety of her juvenile son. Her attorney disputes this.
I was not in disbelief because this happens. And as soon as I learned more of the facts, it was clear to me no crime was committed.
David DeLugas is the attorney representing Brittany. He says she didn't do anything illegal. Brittany has declined to sign a safety plan put forth by the Georgia Division of Family and Children Services that included putting a GPS tracking app on her son's phone.
If you call a document a safety plan, maybe what's in it ought to make the child more safe. And by the way, that assumes he was unsafe in the first place, which he was not. Part of why Brittany declines to sign it is he wasn't unsafe.
What would you say to Brittany Patterson?
Right on. Who hasn't had that experience? What parent in the world has not had some time when they thought their kid was one place and it turned out they were another?
Lenore Skenazy can relate to Brittany's story. Back in 2008, she too divided the country when she let her 9-year-old child take the subway by himself in New York City and published an article about it.
So I think one of the first questions as parents we might have is, did he have a phone or a watch, any communication device to get in touch with you? God forbid. Were you worried about that?
If I was worried about his safety, I wouldn't have done it.
She didn't expect the backlash that followed, at times dubbed on TV as America's worst mom.
What if something, God forbid it happened?
17 years later,
I finally realized that that was my real crime, was trusting my kid to do something without me, being independent, being out in the world. That was the charge against me.
In retrospect, looking back at your son's childhood and now he's grown up, do you stand by your decision to prioritize his independence, even in the face of all that backlash you received?
I do, and I stand by anyone's decision to prioritize their children's independence because independence is trust.
Skenazy is now the president of the nonprofit Let Grow, an organization that promotes so-called free-range parenting.
How important is this conversation?
If you actually let your kid do something by themselves, you let them walk to the store, you let them walk the dog, you let them make the pancakes, you're allowed to be imperfect, if that's what we're going to call it, because perfection has never been a requirement for being a parent or a kid.
As for Brittany, she says she just hopes to be the best mom and example for her kids.
To the critics, that's fine for them to have that opinion of this, if that's how they choose to raise their children. I don't begrudge them for that. I want my kids to be independent, contributing members of society. I want them to have jobs. I want them to be respectful, all of the things so that they can have a good life. That's my goal as a mother.
Our thanks to Ariel for that. There is still much more to get to tonight. Coming up, CDC confirming a child has been infected with the bird flu. But next, the holiday rush is here. Coming up, the day that's expected to be the busiest for Thanksgiving travel. That's in tonight's By the Numbers.
How many elephants have you killed? natural beauty, one of the last of its kind. But this comes at a cost. 5 countries, 5 incredible real stories of adventure, danger,
We have to go.
and deceit. Where are we going next? We got this ongoing search for the animal we've been trying to find. These are the last lands. The national parks around the world that have to be saved.
Wednesday morning on GMA. Are you ready for some dancing in the morning? It's the epic GMA Morning After Dance Party event.
Here we come, GMA.
We're jumping onto the GMA Express.
1 minute, we're dancing in the finale.
The next minute, we're jetting to GMA.
And all the final dancers will be here live.
It'll be the biggest and best morning dance party ever.
Must be fun.
Wednesday morning, only on.
Good morning, America. See you in New York.
3, 2, 1.
It's a 24/7 life together.
It's not about the fear or the risk. It's about the love of flying. 3, 2, 1.
The news never stops.
From Tampa, we are here tonight as Hurricane Milton has just made landfall.
The surge just keeps coming up.
Right on the border between Ukraine and Russia.
In downtown Tel Aviv, rockets or missiles coming in.
ABC News Live everywhere.
We're not far from where this rally took place, so just stick with us here.
Here in London. From the front lines.
Off the coast of Gaza, wherever the story is.
We're going to take you there. You're streaming.
ABC News Live.
ABC News Live.
You're streaming ABC News Live.
ABC News Live, streaming free everywhere.
It's the Dunkin' Thanksgiving Day Parade with Lisa Ann Walter, Carson Kressley, Darlene Love, The Funky Bunch, Matteo Bocelli, and Mickey Mouse and Minnie Mouse. It's a holiday of fun at the Dunkin' Thanksgiving Day Parade.
The news never stops. We are here in Israel, a nation at war.
Hurricane Helene
Screaming across the state, and that's why ABC News Live never stops.
Taking you to the center of the story. As news breaks live.
ABC News Live is there for you all morning live. Right there. As events unfold across the day, breaking down the day's top stories.
ABC News Live Prime going there, wherever the story is.
And ABC News Live lighting up the weekend.
ABC News Live.
Because the news never stops.
I'm Whit Johnson, reporting from Maui. Wherever the story is, we'll take you there. You're streaming ABC News Live.
Welcome back. If you're hitting the road or taking to the skies for the Thanksgiving holiday, you likely have a lot of company. The Holiday Travel Roundup is our by the numbers. 31 million people are expected to fly this holiday. That's according to the booking engine Hopper. That's a nearly 5% increase from last year. American Airlines says it's prepared for more than 8 million travelers on 77,000 flights, and they'll serve more than 6.8 million Biscoff cookies. If you're flying the day before Thanksgiving or the Sunday after, you may end up paying $175 more than those flying on other days. The busiest day, the Sunday after Thanksgiving, when millions of people will be heading home. You know the drill. There's still much more ahead here on Prime, including a story that rattled the nation. 13 siblings who escaped a house of horrors. Hear from a retired detective opening up about the investigation long after the Turpin children were rescued from their foster parents. But first, Conor McGregor vowing to fight the latest court ruling against him.
Hey, good morning, America. Good morning, America.
Good morning, America.
Good morning, America.
Are you ready? They are ready. Covering the biggest biggest events in the country right now.
There's a lot going on here this morning.
It's always a good time. That's what the show's about.
That's good.
Really good.
Very good.
Coming in hot. Jimmy coming in hot.
It's far from elementary.
Oh.
Good morning, America. I'm not going to try to strut like Michael or anything.
I have known George a long, long time.
Have you ever gotten him to dance?
Look at that face.
You don't just see it, you feel it.
I'm in.
I'm in.
I'm in too. I'll be here.
I am here and so happy.
I'm in.
I'm in too.
I'm in. That tells you something when Snoop Dogg's in. Michael, George, Lara, Ginger.
The news never stops. We are here in Israel, a nation at war.
We heard what appeared to be gunfire. The former president rushed off the stage.
Hurricane Helene ravaging the coastline of Florida.
It's moving really fast, screaming across the state.
And that's why ABC News Live never stops.
Taking you to the center of the story. As news breaks live.
We hear the small arms fire around us. We're right on the border between Ukraine and Russia.
ABC News Live is there for you at the start of your day all morning live. ABC News Live, right there, as events unfold across the day. ABC News Live, breaking down the day's top stories.
Lyle and Eric Menendez, there is new evidence in this case.
ABC News Live Prime going there, wherever the story is. Are you going to build it back up? And ABC News Live lighting up the weekend.
With breaking news and all the latest pop headlines.
Happy Oscars Sunday.
A lot to watch for tonight.
ABC News Live.
Because the news never stops.
This version of me.
America's #1 most watched daytime talk show is ABC's The View.
You all heard it here first. I love it. I'm there for it.
Hot topics, political views.
That's what we're about.
Voices that matter. It all goes down right here.
That's why it's called the what? The View. I love it. I'm all in. Second that. This is going to be must-see TV, and so much could happen.
What does it take to be the most watched newscast in America?
We are part of an operation.
Is this our Combat Operations Center?
We're approaching the gate. Militants came in from different directions. Nuclear reactor. So you have a couple loaded and ready to go. The house is destroyed, but the flag...
Not a tear in it.
How important it made the USA. Great work.
Hi. Appreciate you.
Thank you.
Ismail?
David. I'm David Muir.
I know who you are.
You
I watch
do?
you every night.
ABC's World News Tonight with David Muir is America's most watched newscast.
Conor McGregor ordered to pay a woman over a sexual assault claim. American Airlines cracking down on flyers cutting lines to board planes, and what some people are willing to do for a free cup of coffee. These stories and more in tonight's rundown.
A civil jury in Ireland ordered mixed martial arts fighter Conor McGregor to pay a woman over $250,000 after she claimed McGregor sexually assaulted her in a hotel room in 2018. She said her hand was bruised and experienced post-traumatic stress after the night. McGregor said the encounter was consensual and claims he never forced her to do anything. McGregor says he plans to appeal the verdict. The CDC now confirms a child in California has been infected with the bird flu. It is the first case involving a child in the U.S. Health officials say the positive test in Alameda County showed low-level detection of the virus, indicating the child was not likely infectious to others, according to the California Department of Health. There was no known contact with an infected animal, but officials are investigating a possible exposure to wild birds. At this time, officials have not found any evidence of sustained human-to-human transmission. The risk to the public remains low, health officials say. Astronomers have taken a close-up photo of a star outside our own galaxy, the Milky Way, for the first time. The European Southern Observatory announced the discovery of the red supergiant star, which is about 2,000 times larger than the Sun. The star is puffing out gas and dust in the last stages before it becomes a supernova, according to the observatory. Astronomers have known about the star for decades and have called it a behemoth star, but it's never been photographed until now. American Airlines is rolling out new technology across 100 airports that would alert employees if someone is trying to board too early. The technology will make a sound when a gate agent scans a ticket, prompting that passenger to step aside and wait for the correct group to be called. Experts said that in addition to enforcing the rules and efficiency when boarding the plane, airlines like to reward their highest paying and frequent flyers with early boarding as a perk, so they want to keep it exclusive. Kendrick Lamar surprised fans with a new album Friday. The 17-time Grammy-winning rapper is getting Super Bowl ready and ahead of his halftime show at the 2025 event. He dropped an album that he's calling GNX. The cover art is a still black and white image of Kendrick leaning in front of a 1980s Buick GNX. GNX follows several other diss tracks he released this year, including Euphoria, Meet the Grams, and Not Like Us, the last of which was nominated for Song and Record of the Year at the 2025 Grammy Awards. A Massachusetts coffee shop went viral on social media after offering free coffee to customers who would walk in and show off their best dance moves. The social media director for Coffee Milano Cafe in Middlesboro says the buzz has been great for business. The shop plans to announce more dance for coffee days in the near future.
A sheriff's detective is speaking out tonight about his investigation into the horrific abuse many of the Turpin siblings suffered at the hands of their foster parents. KABC's Rob McMillan with the story.
I don't know what you would describe as far as torture goes, but that 5-year-old girl was being tortured on a daily basis.
Riverside County Sheriff's investigator Thomas Salisbury, now retired, sharing details of the physical and emotional abuse many of the Turpin siblings suffered at the hands of their foster parents, Marcelino, Rosa, and Lenise Olguin, who were recently sentenced for their crimes.
Given sleeping pills, made to stand in a little taped square. If she started to fall asleep, they'd spray her with a water bottle. They ring a cowbell. If she went down to the ground, sometimes they'd kick her and stuff.
Salisbury was very familiar with the Turpin siblings. He was the investigator assigned to the original case back in early 2018, when the Turpin siblings were rescued after suffering more than a decade of abuse at this Paris house of horrors at the hands of their biological parents, David and Louise Turpin.
That case was on a holiday weekend. A lot of people were gone, so I ended up with one brand new detective who had been a school resource officer.
Salisbury remembers vividly taking the 13 siblings to the Paris station for their first interviews back in early 2018.
I've never thought as freedom as a right until I walked in that station, and our Paris station is square with a quad yard in the middle, and they're literally out there walking around with their arms out, soaking up the sun.
He was the first to interview the parents, who later admitted to chaining their children to their beds.
How long did the chaining go on? And she just looked at me, and I was like, a few hours? No response. One day? No response. Couple weeks? Couple months? Okay, it was way longer than that, but let me explain. And at that point in my mind, I couldn't fathom any explanation she could come up with that would make sense.
The Turpins would later plead guilty, sentenced to life in prison. Several of the Turpin siblings ended up in foster care.
There were a lot of professionals involved. Some of the ones involved, I had 100% trust in, and I believed them when they told me everything was fine. Yeah, there's minor issues, but no biggie, nothing to worry about, just normal kid feeling bad problems. And so I'd always hoped that's all it was.
But it wasn't. Jordan Turpin, who was the one who escaped from her biological parents' home one dark morning in early 2018, would then leave the Olguins foster home as well, making a similar cry for help, this time to a juvenile advocate. The meeting was supposed to last 30 minutes, but lasted 4 hours.
They don't lie. They might not tell you the truth because they're scared to tell you the truth, but they're not going to lie to you, and if you get them in the right place with the right people, they'll open up.
That's when Salisbury decided to investigate the foster home for himself.
As a human, I want to go right over there, but as a detective, I had to verify.
But despite the allegations, he said Riverside County officials did not want to remove the Turpin children from the home.
I even explained to him, look, I'm a detective. I know if I was talking to someone, I know you might not know me, but I've got 40 years of law enforcement. I've been to all the child abuse training. I'm not saying I'm all that in bag of chips, but that's what needs to happen. These kids need to be at least temporarily removed. No, we're not going to do it. I was like, well, here's what's going to happen now. You're forcing my hand. I'm going to get arrest warrants and search warrants, and I'm going to go over there, and I'm going to arrest these people.
Which is exactly what happened.
And that's when they admitted to all the crimes. I mean, almost every single crime we articulated here.
But the question remains, why weren't they removed from the house by county officials much earlier?
I think part of it was they didn't want to be wrong.
What happened in that home was worse than what happened in their biological parents' home.
Some of the Turpin siblings are now suing Riverside County. At a recent news conference, attorney Elon Zexter calling Thomas Salisbury a hero.
He was the only one that once again listened to the Turpins when they were crying out for help. Not CPS, not ChildNet.
If he hadn't done what he did, it's my feeling we would not be here.
The Turpin's attorneys call you a hero.
No, I'm far from that. If anyone is, it's these kids, because they survived a lot more than I ever could.
Riverside County recently released a statement to Eyewitness News that read, in part, quote, "The trauma this family endured is heartbreaking. We remain committed to their well-being and their lifelong journey of healing. The county is dedicated to continuous quality improvement, and we are constantly reviewing our practices, procedures, and policies." As for Salisbury, he only hopes the Turpin siblings can finally move on.
I just did my job, and I wasn't going to hesitate to do my job.
Our thanks to KABC's Rob McMillan. Our next guest is an Oscar-nominated actor, playwright, filmmaker known for his unforgettable performances in The Social Network, Zombieland, and the Now You See Me franchise. And now he's bringing tears and laughter in his latest film. It's called A Real Pain. Let's take a look.
Our grandma is from here, so Dave arranged for us to join this geriatric Polish tour with you fine people.
Word of warning, this will be a tour about pain.
Our grandmother and Benji were super close. I mean, she was the coolest. I've just been in a real funk, I guess, since she died. Just haven't,
Jesse Eisenberg, writer, director, star of the film, joins us now in studio to discuss the story of two cousins as they embark on a deeply personal exploration of grief and identity in Poland. Jesse, welcome. Thank you for coming in and talking about this. This is a really unique,
Thank you. Yeah.
Cool film. I was able to see it last night. It's called A Real Pain, and that feels like a loaded title. Obviously, it is. It's a play on words.
Yeah.
Tell me about how you got to that.
Yeah, so the story's about these two cousins who have grown apart a little bit, and Kieran Culkin, who brilliantly plays my cousin, kind of like has historically gotten on my nerves a little bit and is kind of getting worse, which accounts for this schism between the two of us. And then over the course of the movie, the characters are going on this tour. It's like a tour, like a Holocaust tour.
Right.
And so the movie's title starts to change and starts to ask, like, what is real pain? Are these two characters actually in pain, or is only, you know, historical pain valid? And by the end of the movie, I think you feel a different feeling about the title, because you're starting to think of what is real pain, and these two guys, and especially Kieran's character, is in real pain.
What inspired you to do this kind of film?
You know, my family's from Poland. A lot of this movie is kind of like autobiographical. We actually filmed this movie at the house my family lived in up until World War II.
Oh, the number 25? Was that the...
That's my family's house from, you know, up until 1939.
I didn't know that. Wow.
Yeah, so a lot of the movie, a lot of the stories the characters tell are, you know, stories that I've heard growing up. And I just thought it'd be really interesting to tell a story about kind of different kinds of grief, because I walk around the world. I have a very lucky life. I'm like a movie actor. It's like I won 10 lotteries in a row to have a movie career. It's so rare. And yet I walk around kind of like I'm a depressive. I walk around like miserable, and I always wonder, how can I possibly feel any self-pity? My life is so good. Why do I feel bad for... about myself, for myself? Why am I embarrassed? Why am I self-conscious?
Well, there's so many people who feel like that.
Yes, of course. And I kind of feel then guilty, like, oh, I shouldn't have this feeling because my family suffered a genocide. Why do I have I should be kissing the ground every day, you know?
There's this generational trauma that you feel, especially if you're Jewish and you're watching this. I've been to Majdanek. We were talking about this, where you filmed this. It was a prolific isn't even the right word, but it was a really bad concentration camp at the time, and it was only 2 miles outside of Lublin, Poland, which is where you filmed. I mean, you're so good with comedy. How was walking the line between using comedy, as you do well in this movie, with this one of the most horrific pieces of history that you can conjure up?
Yeah, you know, I've been writing like plays for 20 years, and they all have this kind of tone, which is I'm trying to attack some bigger theme, but through like kind of just through a comic lens. And for me, it feels like just a way that a movie can feel, or a play can feel, accessible and inviting and warm. I also didn't want to make like another Holocaust movie that feels self-important and sanctimonious and makes the audience feel guilty about something they weren't involved in. Or I didn't want it to feel academic. I wanted it to feel like what I felt traveling to these places, which is a mixture of like, you know, I traveled there with my wife in 2008, and my wife and I, you know, we would be joking around. We would go to these sites, have incredible reverence for it. We'd cry afterwards. Then we'd be joking around at night because you have to, you know, ground yourself in some kind of reality. And so I just wanted to tell the kind of story that felt real to me, as opposed to like a very heavy-handed, melodramatic Holocaust.
It's so funny because you told that story. The way you just described it is the movie.
Exactly that.
And you certainly don't have to be Jewish to like this movie.
No, exactly. I mean,
it's a relationship movie.
Exactly. I mean, my favorite responses to the movie have been people saying, I'm going to Ireland next year because I just saw your movie, and I never realized that, you know, I could just go and visit where my family's from.
Look into my history.
Exactly. There's a character in the movie on the tour with us who's Rwandan. He's from Africa, and he's based on my friend who's Rwandan, who did this same trip because, you know, he wanted to understand where he came from. And so, yeah, the movie is not specifically about Jewish things. It's about a relationship, and they're looking at Jewish history.
Jesse Eisenberg, thank you so much for taking the time.
Thank you so much for having me.
Really do appreciate it.
Thanks.
The movie's great. I enjoyed watching it last night. I enjoyed thinking about it and taking me back to my time in Poland
thanks
as well.
for your work there.
Yeah, all right, thank you very much. And A Real Pain is in theaters now. And that's our show for this hour. I'm Phil Lipoff. Stay with ABC News Live for more context and analysis of the day's top stories. And thank you so much for streaming with us. Coming up in the next hour, tracking 2 major storms coast to coast as millions of Americans travel in the days ahead for the Thanksgiving holiday. Plus, a new warning tonight for electric car owners. The recall issued to fix a problem that increases the risk of crashing.
Thanksgiving Day Parade with Lisa Ann Walter, Carson Kressley, Darlene Love, The Funky Bunch, Matteo Bocelli, and Mickey Mouse and Minnie Mouse. It's a holiday of fun at the Duncan Thanksgiving Day Parade.
A Hollywood studio want us to make a movie of our podcast.
It's a fabulous cast.
Action. I'm nervous playing you. The fearlessness, the complexity.
Oh, stop. Unless you had more to say.
I don't need an algorithm to tell me that this is box office gold.
Only Murders in the Building, streaming on Hulu and for bundle subscribers on Disney+.
Hey, good morning, America. Good morning, America.
Good morning, America.
Are you ready? Covering the biggest events in the country right now.
There's a lot going on here this morning.
You don't just see it, you feel it.
I'm in.
I'm in.
I'm in. I'm in too. I'll be here.
I am here and so happy. I'm in. I'm in too.
Michael, George, Clara, Ginger.
One great idea can change your life.
That's what Shark Tank does.
That's the American dream right there.
This calling is for my kids.
What you've done is remarkable.
One of the most innovative things I've seen in my life.
This could be our biggest deal ever.
I want to be on a team with you.
Shark Tank, new Fridays on ABC and stream on Hulu.
The news never stops. We are here in Israel, a nation at war.
We heard what appeared to be gunfire. The former president rushed off the stage.
Hurricane Helene ravaging the coastline of Florida.
It's moving really fast, screaming across the state.
And that's why ABC News Live never stops.
Taking you to the center of the story.
As news breaks live.
We hear the small arms fire around us. We're right on the border between Ukraine and Russia.
ABC News Live is there for you at the start of your day all morning live. ABC News Live, right there, as events unfold across the day. ABC News Live, breaking down the day's top stories.
Lyle and Eric Menendez, there is new evidence in this case.
ABC News Live Prime going there, wherever the story is. Are you going to build it back up?
And ABC News Live, lighting up the weekends.
With breaking news and all the latest pop headlines.
Happy Oscars Sunday.
A lot to watch for tonight.
ABC News Live.
Because the news never stops.
Reporting from Monterey Park, California, I'm Robin Roberts. Wherever the story is, we're going to take you there. You're streaming ABC News Live.
Good evening. It is the end of a long week. Thank you so much for streaming with us. I'm Phil Lipoff in for Linsey Davis. The plan to teach the Bible in America's second largest state. Thanksgiving just around the corner as so many of us get ready to travel. We are looking at all of this wet and snowy weather here in New York and New Jersey in the Northeast. The first major snowfall of the season, 20 inches in some select places. All that snow definitely causing problems on the roads. A reminder, don't drive if you don't have to in these kind of conditions. In the West, 17 inches of rain in parts of Northern California. 17 inches. First responders actually had to rescue people from their cars, as you see here. We'll have the full weather forecast for you in just a moment, including the key Thanksgiving travel days. But first, our Stephanie Ramos is in this early season East Coast snow.
Tonight, weather whiplash for the Northeast after months of drought. Neighborhoods slammed with heavy wet snow.
Wildfires to now snow and ice. What do you think about all this?
It's been crazy.
In the Scranton, Pennsylvania area, conditions so slick, even plow trucks got stuck. The driver of this plow says he tried to go around another vehicle and got stuck on the shoulder.
I mean, I love the snow. This is kind of fun, but it's not fun when you get stuck.
Authorities in Pennsylvania shutting down a 50-mile stretch of Interstate 84 from outside Scranton to the New York border for a time. Overnight, crews all over the region racing to clear roads, cutting up branches, and dodging live power lines. More than 100,000 in the dark. Meanwhile, that atmospheric river still soaking the West. Overnight, first responders rescuing 2 people and a dog in Chico, California. Flash flood warnings in San Francisco. Our Melissa Adan in Sonoma County, California.
In Sonoma County, we keep seeing the effects of this rainfall. These vineyards here, they're drenched, and so much of the rivers and creeks are now flooding. The biggest concern, you see this here, that's a bridge totally taken by the water. That sign more than 5 feet under.
The mudslide danger growing by the hour. This one swallowing an SUV. Thankfully, no one was hurt. Crews doing what they can to shore up hillsides, hoping they hold.
And Stephanie joins us now from New Jersey. Stephanie, it seems the snow's still coming down where you are.
It certainly is here in New Jersey. In some areas with high elevations like where we are now, High Point State Park, they got up to 20 inches of snow. Real taste of winter, but there is still some real concern as this storm slowly winds down. The high winds gusting nearly 40 miles an hour. Phil?
Stephanie Ramos from High Point, New Jersey. Stephanie, thank you. And WABC's chief meteorologist Lee Goldberg is tracking it all for us. And Lee, some early season snow for the East Coast.
Just incredible, Phil. It's the ultimate case of weather whiplash, where we started November with record warmth, 80-degree temperatures. Then we went into severe drought, brush fires breaking out. Then you get a day with record rainfall and all this big inland snow. It's been extraordinary. Radar still showing rain and snow, albeit lighter. It's still steady across parts of Pennsylvania and West Virginia, but we got up to 20 inches in the Poconos and Catskills and High Point, New Jersey. There are still blizzard warnings that go down into Appalachia, into West Virginia. All these alerts will expire into the day on Saturday. This will all be replaced by big winds across the Northeast. Meanwhile, the atmospheric river event is winding down out west, but there's still some heavy rain coming in. There still could be an additional half a foot of rainfall and additional mountain snows, and then it gets more patchy into the weekend. But there are more rounds of rain and snow in early next week for holiday travel delays. That'll move into the Rockies and Ohio Valley midweek, and unfortunately, a week from now, we may be covering a storm along the East Coast, bringing more rain and snow and slowing down travel into Thanksgiving and the day after. Hopefully, we can squeeze in a dry Thanksgiving Day parade. We'll be on it. Phil?
I know you will. Hopefully, indeed. All right, Lee Goldberg, thanks so much. So it is a move testing the boundaries of separation of church and state in this country. In Texas, the state school board approved Bible teachings in elementary classrooms. The controversial curriculum includes biblical and Christian lessons about Moses, the story of Good Samaritan, the Golden Rule, readings from the book of Genesis, and it's just the latest in a series of similar attempts in Republican-led states. ABC's Maria Villarreal reports from Texas tonight.
Tonight, in a first-of-its-kind decision, the Texas Board of Education approving a controversial new curriculum that allows Bible teachings in public elementary schools.
8 yes, 7 no.
8-7, the motion passes.
The curriculum, set to roll out next August, includes both biblical and Christian stories in reading and language arts textbooks for 2.3 million students in kindergarten to 5th grade. While schools can opt out, those that adopt the new lesson plans stand to receive at least $40 per student in state funding. Tonight, critics say the curriculum undermines students' religious freedom.
We trust our families and our religious institutions to handle religious instruction, and that protects everyone's religious freedoms.
And they say it's part of a Republican-led push for Christianity in public education across the country. Oklahoma's state superintendent has ordered teachers in grades 5 through 12 to include the Bible in classroom instruction. And in Louisiana, the 10 Commandments must be displayed in every classroom. Both are now facing legal fights.
Our thanks to Maria Villarreal from Texas tonight. President-elect Trump late today has nominated candidates for several new cabinet positions. Trump has offered the Treasury Secretary job to billionaire Scott Bessent, sources tell ABC News. Bessent has advised Trump on economic policy in the past. Trump has said that he plans to impose tariffs on all U.S. imports. And the president-elect a short time ago announcing he is nominating Oregon Republican Congresswoman Lori Chavez DeRemer to be Labor Secretary. He also nominated one of the architects of Project 2025, Russ Vought, to be the Director of Office of Management and Budget. And Trump nominating Dr. Jeanette Neshwat to be Surgeon General. She is a contributor on Fox News. And for CDC Director, Trump named former Congressman Dr. Dave Weldon to take that role. ABC senior White House correspondent Selena Wang has the latest from West Palm Beach, Florida.
Tonight, sources tell his team Trump is confident the president-elect's second pick for attorney general won't suffer the same fate as his first. Former Congressman Matt Gaetz, who only lasted 8 days before he had to withdraw from contention.
America's for Trump, and so am I.
The new nominee, former Florida Attorney General Pam Bondi, considered a much stronger contender for Senate confirmation.
President Trump has been out there fighting for us non-stop. And if he's out there fighting for us, we're going to fight for him.
Gaetz, who antagonized many of his fellow Republicans for years, saw his nomination go down in flames amid allegations he used drugs and paid women for sex. Gaetz has denied any wrongdoing, but today acknowledged Bondi doesn't have his baggage.
I had a full-time job explaining to senators that maybe a tweet I sent about them was rash and not reflective of how I would serve as Attorney General. Pam Bondi's confirmation won't have some of the sharp edges that mine would have. It won't take the same long process.
What Bondi does have is the trust of Donald Trump. She defended him in his first impeachment trial.
They threw due process, fundamental fairness, and our Constitution out the window.
And was a key force in his effort to overturn the 2020 election, pushing lies about the vote.
We do have evidence of cheating. We are still on the ground in Pennsylvania. I'm here right now, and we are not going anywhere until they declare that we won Pennsylvania.
As Florida's Attorney General, she also passed on a case against Trump University shortly after receiving a donation from the Trump Foundation. More recently, she's worked as a lobbyist and registered foreign agent, with past clients including the government of Qatar.
Thank you, Pam. What a good job she does.
For Trump, the Attorney General job is the one he cares the most about. In a statement announcing Bondi's nomination, he said, "For too long, the partisan Department of Justice has been weaponized against me and other Republicans. Not anymore." Bondi's made it clear in her many TV appearances that she understands her marching orders.
The investigators will be investigated because the deep state, last term for President Trump, they were hiding in the shadows, but now they have a spotlight on them, and they can all be investigated, and the House needs to be cleaned out.
With Bondi's selection, Trump has now nominated 4 of his personal lawyers for the top spots at the Department of Justice.
Selena Wang reporting from West Palm Beach, Florida. After a week of major escalation in the war in Ukraine, Russia has now vowed to mass produce an experimental ballistic missile tested for the first time in an attack on Ukraine this past Thursday. Vladimir Putin calling that strike a warning to the West. ABC's chief international correspondent James Longman with more.
Tonight, Russia is vowing to mass produce that new advanced ballistic missile that slammed into Ukraine. The experimental missile with multiple warheads struck the eastern city of Dnipro. The Russians say it's capable of carrying a nuclear weapon and isn't easily intercepted. This new image shows fragments of that missile later found on the ground. Vladimir Putin has called the attack a successful test and says they will continue to use the missiles in combat. Putin had called the attack a warning to the West. Retaliation for Ukraine's use of American and British long-range missiles fired into Russia. Ukraine tonight tightening security, shutting down parliament, holding emergency talks with NATO, vowing to respond to Russia's missile threat.
James, thank you. Hyundai and Kia are recalling over 208,000 electric vehicles to fix a problem that can cause loss of drive power, which increases the risk of a crash. The recalls cover Hyundai and Genesis vehicles, as well as the Kia EV6 model. Owners will be notified by letter starting next month. Dealers will inspect and replace the control unit and a fuse if needed. They will also update some software. Owners whose vehicles were recalled earlier this year to fix the same problem will have to visit their dealer again. Signs of Christmas on Capitol Hill. The U.S. Capitol Christmas tree arrived today. It is an 80-foot Sitka spruce that was hauled over 4,000 miles from Alaska's a national forest in Alaska to Washington, D.C. This, by the way, is the second time a tree has come from Alaska. The tree lighting ceremony will take place the first week of December. Still much more to get to here on Prime tonight. Coming up, staying healthy with the help of music. Hear from the doctor who has worked with artists like Stevie Wonder as he talks about the worlds of music and medicine colliding. But next, the new government warning tonight after an American was allegedly poisoned while on vacation.
How many elephants have you killed? True natural beauty, one of the last of its kind. But this comes at a cost. 5 countries, 5 incredible real stories of adventure, danger,
We have to go.
and deceit. Where are we going next? We got this ongoing search for the animal we've been trying to find. These are the last lands. The national parks around the world that have to be saved.
The ancestors called on us for a reason. To reconnect our people across the entire ocean.
I don't need her to save me. Again. Ow! Ow!
Disney's Moana 2, rated PG, only in theaters November 27th. Why do so many people start their day here?
From ABC News, this is Start Here.
To be in the know and get a different take on the day's top stories.
A lot of news today, so let's get into it.
Listen now to the Daily News Podcast honored with 4 Edward R. Murrow Awards and see why the New York Times calls it a news podcast worth listening to. Start Here, ABC News. Make it your daily first listen.
Now, that's a part of the story I bet you didn't see coming.
Wherever you get your podcasts, start here.
Reporting from the New Year celebration in Times Square, New York, I'm Alex Perche. Wherever the story is, we'll take you there. You're streaming ABC News Live.
We are tracking several headlines around the world at this hour. The Israeli Defense Forces pounding southern Lebanon and the outskirts of Beirut today, killing at least 5 medics, according to the Lebanese Health Ministry. Israel has pushed on with its intense military campaign against Hezbollah since September. To date, more than 3,500 Lebanese have been killed and at least 15,000 injured. An American man and 5 other tourists died after drinking tainted alcohol in Laos. The 6 victims are suspected to have been poisoned after drinking alcohol containing methanol. The U.S. State Department issued a health alert following the incident, warning travelers of the risk of methanol-laced alcoholic drinks. The U.S. Embassy in London and the South Terminal at Gatwick Airport were both evacuated today after the police investigated 2 suspicious items there. The police carried out a controlled explosion of the package found near the U.S. Embassy, but later said it was a hoax device. At Gatwick Airport, a suspicious item found in a bag triggered the alarm there. That item was later discarded, and the airport went back to normal operations. Do you ever wonder why music can take you back to a particular moment, making you laugh, smile, or even cry? In the new book, I Heard There Was a Secret Chord, Dr. Daniel Levitin dives into how music and medicine intertwine, and if we can use music to treat depression, improve focus, and even boost the body's immune system. Think of that. Dr. Levitin joins us now. Doctor, it's so good to see you here in studio. We appreciate you coming in and talking to us about this. We should tell our viewers right off the bat, you are a musician as well as a scientist. You have worked with Stevie Wonder, Steely Dan, Joni Mitchell, and so many more. Tell us about, you know, sort of, you still are both, but your transition from one to the other and how they mix.
Well, I was always interested in the brain. I started out in college as a neuroscience major, dropped out and played in bands, worked for a record label, and then went back to get my doctorate in neuroscience because I was fascinated by what goes on in the brain when great musicians are somehow able to reach us, communicate in a nonverbal channel that's more intimate and powerful than words.
Interesting. What goes on in their brain and ours.
Exactly.
Your lab was one of the first to perform brain scans of people listening to music. So tell us, in what you've seen, how does the brain react, say, differently to a happy song and a sad song?
Well, so there are some interesting points in common. If you love the music, the reward center, the pleasure centers of the brain come on equally, whether it's happy or sad. If you're feeling depressed, sad music is actually more effective than happy music at lifting your mood, because sad music helps you feel understood.
So then how does music affect patients in pain, or even more so with like a neurodegenerative disease like Alzheimer's?
One of the things we found out, and I describe, and I heard there was a secret chord, was that your brain produces its own opiates. Not the kind you take in a pill. Right. Well, basically the kind you take in a pill, but they're endogenous, internally generated, and that's an analgesic. It helps relieve pain and lift your mood at the same time when you listen to music you like.
You write in the book, poetry often trades semantic ambiguity, as do musical lyrics, but common speech and expository writing try to avoid such lack of clarity and contrast. Music revels in it. So first of all, talk about the ambiguity in music, and does ambiguity in music make it possible for people to relate to it more while they're listening to it?
Well, as you know, as a musician yourself, when we're playing, we might be thinking one thing, but the audience is going to take what they take, because music by itself, without the words, doesn't really mean anything. It's a canvas that we can interpret any way that we like. That's part of the healing power of it. When the music is good, for us, it transports us to another world. Our mind wanders. We see visions in our head. We it evokes feelings that we might not be able to put into words. That ambiguity, it means that we can project ourselves in any piece of music or allow it to project on us.
I'm curious, maybe our viewers would be too, someone who's written a book like this. What kind of music do you like?
I listen to just about everything you can imagine. Country, classical, jazz, hip hop, heavy metal. And what, a lot of people wonder, well, what kind of music is the most healthful? And it doesn't matter the genre, it just matters that you like it. You can't say that Bach is better than Babyface.
It matters what you need.
Yes.
At that moment.
And most of us are pretty good at self-medicating. We're good at finding the music that we need in a particular moment. And the streaming services are getting better at being able to make recommendations based on what you already liked.
Yeah. I always wondered when I was sad or I was upset about something and I heard a pop song, how I wanted nothing to do with it. And it's how you describe it. If I had heard something sad, I might have grabbed onto it a bit more because it's what I needed at that moment for the moment.
We know that when you're sad and you listen to sad music, your brain releases a neurochemical called prolactin, which is a soothing, tranquilizing hormone, the same one released between mothers and infants during nursing.
Great. Thank you so much for coming in and talking to us about it, Doctor.
Thank you, Phil.
I really do appreciate it. You can purchase, I heard there was a secret chord, there it is, wherever books are sold. And there is still more to come here on Prime. They have more than 60 million streams on Spotify, and their song, What You Want, is all over TikTok. Super pop group Lawrence joins us here in studio when we return.
One great idea can change your life.
That's what Shark Tank does.
That's the American dream right there.
This calling is for my kids.
What you've done is remarkable.
One of the most innovative things I've seen in my life.
This could be our biggest deal ever.
I want to be on a team with you.
Shark Tank, new Fridays on ABC and stream on Hulu.
The news never stops. We are here in Israel, a nation at war.
We heard what appeared to be gunfire. The former president rushed off the stage.
Hurricane Helene ravaging the coastline of Florida.
It's moving really fast, screaming across the state.
And that's why ABC News Live never stops.
Taking you to the center of the story.
As news breaks live.
We hear the small arms fire around us. We're right on the border between Ukraine and Russia.
ABC News Live is there for you at the start of your day all morning live.
ABC News Live, right there, as events unfold across the day.
ABC News Live, breaking down the day's top stories.
Lyle and Eric Menendez, there is new evidence in this case.
ABC News Live Prime going there, wherever the story is. Are you going to build it back up?
And ABC News Live lighting up the weekends.
With breaking news and all the latest pop headlines.
Happy Oscars Sunday.
A lot to watch for tonight.
ABC News Live.
Because the news never stops.
It's the Duncan Thanksgiving Day Parade with Lisa Ann Walter, Carson Kressley, Darlene Love, The Funky Bunch, Matteo Bocelli, and Mickey Mouse and Minnie Mouse. It's a holiday of fun at the Duncan Thanksgiving Day Parade.
Making music a family business. Super pop group Lawrence may have found the perfect recipe for working with your siblings and childhood friend and making amazing music at the same time. With more than 60 million streams on Spotify and now a 4th studio album under their belt, Lawrence is letting us all know, they're letting us all in on this little secret of success with family business. So let's take a listen to the single, What You Want.
Meditation tells me it's in my head, but then you're going again with all the copy and pasting. Say it, I know you won't. Feel like I'm never gonna. Say it, I know you won't.
I could listen to that note for the longest time. That is such a great, your voice is so, both of you.
The same outfit in that video.
Is that the video outfit?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, you're like, out of all days, out of all days. All right, well, there are 8 of you in the band, as we saw. You got a cool horn section. And tell us how that came to be.
Well, obviously, Gracie and I are siblings. The other 6 members of our core band are childhood friends from different points in life. One of them, our friend Jordan, we met in elementary school. Sam, our drummer, we met in middle school. And then the other guys we met
in college. And then for some of our acoustic videos, like the one that you just showed right there, a lot of those people aren't even our full-time bandmates. They're just like really talented friends of ours.
What was the inspiration behind this album? It's a little bit different than the others, and you have a theme, which is...
Well, it was very true to our experience, which is just that we have this weird confluence of different things that combine into our relationship, which is like being best friends, being siblings, being business owners together, having to work together every day, when we're on a bus living together, roommates. So this album's called Family Business because of all of the ways in which we define our relationship with each other. And then extended beyond that, like everyone in our band is a friend that we've had pretty much since childhood. So they kind of are our extended family too.
I feel like there's this space that you're currently filling in music that is this genre kind of blending new thing that we haven't seen in a long time. Music has, in my opinion, just been stagnant for a long time. You have your rock, your pop, your this, but you guys are doing something different.
Yeah, we're definitely trying to combine a whole lot of different things. Pop music to soul music, funk music, rock music, musical theater music, jam band music and culture. You know, we try to bring a lot of those things together, and different songs have different amounts of each of those things. If you listen to our whole album, you'll get really run the gamut across a lot of different genres, and it's just kind of a mix of the things we grew up enjoying listening to.
You guys have taken on this DIY attitude. You're kind of doing it really all yourself, and there are some upsides and downsides to independence, but talk to me about doing this. You know, you're putting everything together.
Yeah, I mean, I want to shout out, we do have really cool managers and agents and
a
some
great touring crew.
Yeah, some infrastructure that is necessary to like literally operate. But yeah, we're an independent band, and we kind of like that because it allows us to make...
And what that means is that we're not on a label, a major label of any kind.
And it allows us to make the music we want to make, which I think we've always said is really just the dream. I think any musician would say that that's their dream, and so we've been lucky enough to be able to just kind of continue growing this fan base for many years and having an audience that responds to the music that we want to make.
I got to get two more quick questions. Tell me about the tour, your biggest yet.
Yeah, we just finished up the North American leg and the first European leg of the Family Business Tour, which was our biggest tour yet. We played Radio City Music Hall here in New York.
So cool.
A bunch of other really cool venues. It was such a dream come true. It was a great tour. And then we've already announced that in the beginning of next year, we're going to be going to Australia, going back to Europe, and we haven't announced the exact dates yet, but we will very soon. We're going to be doing another leg in North America, so keep an eye out for that too.
And just quickly, Gracie, you're also set to be a series regular on the 3rd season of The Sex Lives of College Girls. Anything you can tell us about that?
Well, the first episode came out last night, which I'm not in, so we'll be having to wait for my character to enter. So I don't know what I can say, but I play a transfer student who comes to the school, and I've been a fan of the show for years, so it was kind of a weird, trippy experience to like walk onto a set that I knew. And yeah, it's awesome. If you're a fan of the show, if you're a fan of comedy, you should watch it.
No. I'm a fan of your band, and thank you for coming in and talking to us about it. Best of luck on the rest of the tour. It was nice to meet you both.
Thank you so much.
You can listen to Family Business out now anywhere you stream your music. And that's our show for this hour. I'm Phil Lipoff. Stay with ABC News Live for more context and analysis of the day's top stories. And thanks for streaming with us.
Wherever news breaks, it's so important to always remember that lives are changed. Here in London, in